Board games are wonderful. It's a fantastic hobby, great fun with friends. The issue is they keep releasing them, which is a good thing, but it does mean there is a lot of new games that you really want to play. And often you might have classics on your shelf that you want to get back and play again and again, but there's something new grabs your eye. To talk about this phenomenon, which is well discussed and well talked about, but to discuss it tonight, from the Board Game BBQ, we have Mike and Dan. Gents, thank you very much for coming.
Thanks for having us.
You've got a board game podcast. There's a bunch of you to talk about games. So you're reviewing games, which means you're playing a lot of, not always brand new games, but a lot of new games. Can you sort of run me through your experience with the ever-changing, the ever-new game, the next game coming?
You're always chasing that new hit. You always want that new thing that's going to bring a new bit of excitement, especially these days. You like so many different kinds of games that these days you might find that new game that mixes different components from other games that you love. So it's this new amalgamation of all these things you already know you like. I want to try this thing that mashes them all together.
Yeah, and we've got to remember that we're sort of catering to a wide audience where people who are already invested in the hobby and they want to know about the new games that are coming out. And then you've got maybe people that aren't that as experienced, and so they may want to learn about some of the other games, some of the older games, some of the go-tos, or what we refer to as gateway games. So in that case, it's okay to talk about some of the staples and the more tried and true games. But ultimately, we do find ourselves torn between the good games that are out there and what everyone wants, which is a cult of the new. I mean, it's no different. People want to know what the new movies are and what new songs are out there.
Yeah, because that is the fact that there is hundreds, if not thousands, of games released every year. They're not all good, but a lot of them are very good, and that's the issue we have nowadays. Is a lot of games are good or fine, and when there's hundreds of new games, sometimes fine doesn't cut it. But then you look at the fact of I've been in the hobby seriously for about 2 years. There's so many modern classics that I haven't played yet, let alone stuff that's coming from Kickstarter. I was picking up sleeves from a store today, and I saw that they were fulfilling a solo game that I was interested in that had just come out. And I was like, no, you have 3 different solo games that you haven't played yet at home. Just wait.
But it's so shiny.
Yeah.
And you want to taste all the flavors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, we were talking about it, and we were having a discussion, and now what's happening is I now want to go home and order this game. So thanks a lot, guys.
It's okay.
I see no problem with that plan.
Yeah. So do you feel, as reviewers, do you feel there's a pressure to keep playing new games that you have to, or are you fine discovering old classics?
I love both. I really enjoy finding those old games that I've not heard about that can bring back to life this old game that no one knew about. It happens once in a while where you stumble across something that no one knows and you sort of give it a bit of life again. But at the same time, finding something new is exciting as well that everyone wants to get into.
I love a review of a game that I haven't played in ages, and then I think, oh my God, I remember that. Why haven't I played that? That is a great game. I should dig that game out again. I think that also the danger you get into is with the cult of the new, that you may be reviewing something after an initial play, and so really all you're giving is just your first impressions. So we try and play, if we're going to talk about a new game, we try and at least get a couple of plays under our belt, so that we can do a bit of a deep dive into what the game is about and how we enjoy it. But because sometimes you can get caught up in, oh, that was an amazing game, and you play a second time, it's like, okay, that probably wasn't as great as I thought it was on second or third visit.
I think that beyond, obviously, being reviewers, there is the element of, there's probably a lot of people have in their collection is a lot of games they've played once or twice. And then a lot of those games do deserve more plays, or they're going to get a lot more out of them on repeat plays. Do you guys have a bunch of games that you really need to get back to the table that haven't?
Yeah.
I feel attacked.
Yeah. Most of the games that I really, really love are games that are quite big in scale. And so you can't really completely say that you've played that game if you've only played half of the story. If it's a campaign game, for instance, you're only halfway through. And I'm always conscious of the fact that there's a lot of work going into creating the whole campaign, the whole tapestry of everything that goes together. So to just play 1 or 2 bites of it and then go, there you go, I got the gist of it now. Well, you haven't.
I guess if we're talking about culture of the new, there is that drive every year. There's Gen Con, there's PAX, there's Essen, there's all these new exciting games, and it's awfully it's great to get your hands on them. There is sometimes hype can be a bit of an issue where you can have those really high expectations that don't hit. Having gone to Gen Con, Mike, did you feel that need when you were there to grab as much as you could?
I grabbed as many. I think I came back with 36 games in my suitcases.
That's more than a lot of people have in their collection.
Don't judge me. Don't attack me. It's fine. It's okay.
There's no kink shaming here. Don't
Exactly.
worry.
Don't yuck my yum. But no, look, it's absolutely you. It's like one of those things when you see a line somewhere, you want to jump in the line because you know it's good. So it's the same sort of thing. You'd go to the opening of Gen Con when they open the doors every morning, and everyone's already penciled in where the sales are. Like some games at the time, Twilight Imperium was not Twilight Imperium.
Inscription.
Twilight Inscription was being released, and everyone was rushing to that booth straight away because they were selling 50 copies every day. So there was that rush. I've never played the original game, and it's not a game I did much research in, but I wanted to go get one of the 50
You
copies.
wanted to be a part of it.
It's the exclusivity of it all that
absolutely.
just got you in.
Yeah.
Which was funny because when we think about Australia, like we often get things months and months after everyone else. So like I was talking about BGG Hot List the other day. Is a lot of those games might not be available for retail in Australia for 6 months' time, even longer. So we're almost sort of a little bit removed from the culture of the new just by the factor of where we live.
Which is an advantage because then you can, after the dust settles, you can find out exactly what you can look online and get reviews and playthroughs and find out if it is actually your jam after all, or if it's not just the new shiny thing that's like, oh, I have to have that. You watch a few playthroughs and go, actually, yeah, it's probably not my thing. On the podcast as well, we've got the luxury of, because there's 8 of us, we've got different games that appeal to different people as well. So I like hearing about a game that Mitch or Connor play, but I know it's not my thing.
Yeah, if Mitch likes it, you're probably not going to like it.
If Mitch likes it, he's going to like that game.
Yeah,
garbage. Except for Too Many Bones. He got one game right.
So, on a final note, talk about Culture of the New. I'm going to go back and flip it. Can you name a game or two in your collection that you played once or twice, but you haven't played for a while that you really want to get to the table?
I can think of games that I haven't played at all that
Yep.
I got sucked in by Culture of the New, and that was, we were talking earlier, Nemesis.
Yeah,
Oh, yep.
absolutely. Yeah, Nemesis.
So Def on our podcast spun me a story once where he played this solo game of Nemesis, and it was real cinematic, and I went, that sounds exactly my kind of game. So I got sucked in by the Culture of the New when Nemesis Lockdown came out. I backed that, plus the original. It's still sitting in shrink on my Calyx.
Yeah, having both of them is...
I got completely sucked in by the cult of the New on that one.
And can you flip it around and a classic that you love that you haven't got to the table for a while?
Classic that I haven't got to the table for Alhambra is something that probably will stay on my collection. Well, I haven't played Marvel Champs in a long time. That's actually my number one game. It has been for over a year now, but just haven't got it to the table.
I can answer both questions with one game.
Yep.
Everdell, the big box.
Oh, yep.
So, love Everdell. It's a classic game, really good introductory game. And when the big box came out, I rubbed my fingers together and I waited for it to arrive. And I opened it up and I put all the stickers on and unboxed it. And I've not played it since I got it. And it's been 6 months now or something. It's a game that I know I love. There's all this new expansion content that I can play with, and I haven't touched it.
Yeah, that train can get into the station. Come on.
I see what we did there. Very good.
For me, I think there's a few games that I'm really keen to get back to the table. Everdell was one that I hadn't played for a while that I got back as a sort of modern classic. Yeah, so I think there, as much as the new exciting thing of there's in games here that I haven't played yet that I'm keen to play, but there's a lot of stuff in my collection that I need to get to the table again first.